Thank you, everybody. Let me set the stage. I'm the only person of color in a social economics course, and we're talking about food stamps. My classmates are saying the wildest things. Don't you think $200 is a lot of money to buy groceries? Seems to me that food stamps incentivizes people to stay dependent. I don't think rotisserie chicken should count as an essential item. Right, that chicken is good. And I sat there and I really wondered whether they had considered how someone like me, who grew up on the system to survive, was experiencing it. So in a moment of bravery, I raised my hand and asked, have any of you ever had to apply for food stamps? And the room went silent. I wonder how many of you have had similar moments of disconnection like that. This disconnect is what contributes to inequities in Boston today. On the one hand, you have people that are working really hard to provide services like housing and healthcare. On the other hand, you have people that are struggling to access those services and live in fear of being pushed out of the city that they call home every September 1st. Then you have people that are trying their hardest too to make decisions about how these services are implemented in the community, like the CEO of health insurance companies and developers. The problem is a system that keeps all these groups of people apart. GenUnity is breaking down these walls. Our mission is to bring these groups of people together to have conversations with each other and understand each other's perspectives and lived realities. We invest in their leadership and we give them the skills to work in collaboration. Our hope is to create a city where people have relationships and conversations with people that are different from them, that they feel empowered and activated to act on what needs to be done, and feel like they have everything that they need to move forward. Ultimately, we're building a better Boston. Our programs focus on building community leadership around shared local issues such as health equity and housing security. And the cornerstone of our programs are really our people, our participants. Our cohorts we have 50 adults in our cohorts, and it's a cohort-based model. And we have worked really hard through our application process to ensure that everyone that's seated at the table has had some lived experience within the conversation that we're talking about. That means that 50% live in households with annual income of below $40,000 a year and receive a stipend to supplement the time that they're in our program. Other folks come to us as they're sponsored by their employer, like House Health or BMC. Over 10 weeks, participants engage with each other in a hybrid model, and knowing that we need to make sure that we're creating a space that's accessible and that people can actually show up. That means that a lot of the times we're having really difficult conversations about the things that we care about. And we're doing so by creating a space that is centered around solidarity, mutual understanding, and trust. And trust me, that's not easy. So Blue Cross sponsored Alex to be part of our health equity program last year. In cohort conversations, he listened as other people shared their struggles and how frustrating it was to find a provider that offered culturally competent care and gender-affirming services. I wonder how many of you knew how difficult it really was to search for these kinds of criteria in any provider listing. It's not there, and I see some of y'all shaking your head. You're like, yeah, I've tried, and it's really difficult. So after the program, Alex felt like he needed to do something about it. So he went back to Blue Cross, and he's now working on that directory. So, thanks. We also make an intention to convene our participants with people that are actively working in the community. And they meet in 1.5-hour conversation centers to unpack why issues persist and create innovative solutions. Glorabelle came to us as an advocate already in her community working on renters' rights. And during her time at GenUnity, she got to meet with professors from Suffolk Law School who validated something that Glorabelle already knew to be true, that there's discrimination in the renters market against people with Section 8 vouchers and people with Black-sounding names. And after the program, she continued to foster that kind of connection, and it ultimately led to them collaborating on legislation to reduce bias in the rental market. Our Lifetime Community of Practice continues to be a space where people can stay connected across the program and drive grassroots change. We've had people that go on to advocate to preserve spaces for local artists or create more effective feminine health products. And our data shows us that this is just the beginning. Folks have reported that we help them to deepen their understanding of local issues, build strong relationships with one another, and strengthen their empathy skills. We also haven't been steady or quiet as we're doing our work. We're making sure that we're building a coalition, which as of right now has included 20 employer partners headlined by Blue Cross, who's made a multi-year commitment to send their employees to GenUnity. We are also working on a philanthropic network of partners both locally and nationally to sustain our work. We are seeking an investment of $4 million to do our work over the next 2 years. The first thing that we seek to do is expand our programs to reach 300 participants a year. More GenUnity participants means more people out there actively working to disrupt and shift power. We seek to broaden our portfolio of programs to 5 issue areas, including environmental justice, criminal justice, and food security. And we seek to support 15 community-led projects in the city of Boston. And lastly, we also seek to grow our team from 7 to 19 with intentionality and integrity, and paying a wage in which people can thrive on, not just live on. And disrupting the narrative, thank you. And disrupting the narrative that those that work within the nonprofit system have to live off of their passion. I hear you. Thank you so much, y'all. And I really hope that you join us as we continue to build a better city for everyone. Thank you.